Okay, let's go. So, good. So we've covered 2 of the 5. We'll see how we go. 3 and 4 are actually very simple. They've got really the beginning's the key to it. So we'll look at 3 first, and then we'll look at 4. Maybe we can look at 5, but we'll see how we go. So the first thing we'll do is just look at 3's got a very short movement. So what we've got now, again, it's about tactics. So the first movement you've got for number 1, you've got this, presenting an opening. Okay, and then taking advantage of it. Number 2 is dealing where you blend up together. Protect yourself, and then by doing that, you create the opening in the knee, and then you come to this position. In number 3, you've got a stalemate, and what you do is you create an opening. So this is initiated by the defending role. What you're trying to do in this case is open out the center line. So you've got both swords crossed in this way, like this. What you're trying to do, you've got, again, a stalemate. You're trying to take this sword off the line, totally disrupt the person, and then come through to the center line. So we'll just look at this, the intention behind this one. You've got this position here, you snap the sword away, and then I'm coming to strike onto the head this way. So just try this. This is a really clear movement. So you want to snap the sword off the center line, and then press the whole body through to the front. So it's got a very, very sharp quality. So you're here, you snap with the body, and then boom, you come through with the right to their head. So 1, 2, right to the body. You're trying to disrupt the person totally, break the kamae, open at the center line, and then press the body straight through it. Really solid strike. Just give it a try. So it's got something very flexible at the beginning, but quite harsh. You want to really snap the sword out of the line. That's it. Okay, great. There we go. Nice.
Michael,
yeah, sure.
One of the things that I've been taught in the past, because I've done a bit of kendo in the past, was that when you're trying to make that snap, that left wrist stays where it is, the right wrist stays where it is. You try and move the left hand to snap it.
Yeah, in a way, you want this to be also very quiet. So if you think about it, this, in order for it to be silent, it can't come from the hands. It needs to come from the center of the body. So if you think about it, it's right. What you're saying is like, what I don't want to do is a movement like this, like that. So it's not it's not a swipe out and then a press back with the body. It's basically from this position, that. It's basically a snap away from the body. So it's going to come exclusively, really, from the back hand and the back hip this way. So it's going to snap in that way, snap in that way. So it's not that this hand's the hand's not totally fixed and I'm doing something like that. It's actually something that's going to come from the center. So again, it's trying to get the feeling from the center. Snap, snap, and then snap straight in that way. So it's got that kind of quality. And yeah, it's going to come mostly from the left hand, and the right hand's basically just going to kind of follow the motion.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Hey.
Michael?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I forgot. Did you say that the one who snaps is the defending or the attacking?
The defender's going to initiate this one.
Oh,
so
okay.
again, what you're trying to do is the initiation comes from the defending side. So 1, 2, and 3, the initiation comes from the defender. So I'm trying to snap out and then take the center line this way. Trying to open them out.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, good. Goes this way. There we go. That's it. Good. Yeah, most of you are doing this already, but if you're not, just get the sense now that this is one motion. So the snap, draw into the center line. So snap, draw to the center line. This needs to be also really efficient. What I can't do in this case is like this: push the sword out and then drag it back onto the center line. So that initial snap's got to be like in the center and back, in the center and back. That straight back onto the center line. It actually never really leaves the center line. It's just the sword gets snapped out and then back. So it's like a kind of whip, that. So it needs to be really kind of, in a way, totally quiet. So I want it to be full, that. The problem is the sword, to be quiet, I tend to be quite sloppy. So something like this. But I want to have the feeling in the sword like it's really connected to the center of the body. So you've got a very kind of, where in kendo, when you do kendo, what you do like this. So I'm trying to get the person really to react to do something. I don't do that quality, but I've got it like, it's like a really calm, but really, I'm really switched on this way. So it's not kind of empty. And then now I feel it. So it's full. The kamae is really full. And then it comes straight on this way. So you're really in a prepared state. So the kamae is there just to really lock into the body. It's got that kind of quality. You want to, when you want to go fully in, commit totally. Yeah. Tricky. Yeah. There we go. Okay, now if we go to the attacking side, if the person's not connected, this will happen. This will happen to the person. They get swung out, and basically the sword's just basically you totally expose them. So what they want to be is really connected, so that as this snap comes on, the body's going to receive it and feed me into the next attack. So this is really a case of taking ukemi, not taking ukemi, but receiving through the sword. So you receive that parry, this, and you take it straight away into the cut this way. So it's not like this 1, 2. It's really one thing. So the parry feeds my cut this way. Tricky to do when we're kind of solo, but just get this feeling like someone's on the other end and they just slap the sword away. Slap. Now, as it gets slapped, take it away. So you really feed off that. That motion becomes that motion. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good. Great. And this is a really short form. You've just got one more attack. So you receive it, here go out, and then again you cross the line and then strike for the head this way. So it's the shortest form in the set. It goes 1, 2, this way. So really, really contained, condensed. 1, 2, goes on. So you get parried, feed off the strike, this way. Nice.
Both times are you striking to the head?
The first one goes to the head too, yeah. So you're going around and strike to the head. And then this gets blocked, strike to the head. So it's two strikes to the head. And this goes. It's like 1, 2, goes through that way. Oh, there we go. Nice. Great. And then we'll switch straight back, defending roll. So you've got the same idea now. My intention is that coming in to the strike. Now at the point of doing that, the person's already received and coming down for the strike. So if I continue with my initial movement, this, I will just get struck on the arm or onto the head. So the person will already have fed around, and by the time I've made this strike, I've already been cut. So that cut now makes no sense to me. So what I do is keep the initiation going forward, and then I draw it back to find the block. So it's a really sharp movement, but quite subtle in terms of the body work. So you snap in, that, and then back. So it's got this really, really sharp change quality. So this. So it's got a sharp, that. And I need to preserve that in the second movement, the intention to go forward. Otherwise, there's no threat to the person. They won't really come through. We do in the form, we just kind of follow the parry. But if there's no real threat to the person, they won't just kind of come through. So it's that. Okay. So it's 1, that. And that's all one movement. 1. Comes to that.
Michael,
Yeah, sure.
you do it to the camera, probably a couple of times, but slow motion, please.
So goes here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's that? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Good. Yeah, and then the last stroke's just the finish. So the same as all the others. You've got one, there, and then two, there. So really, really, really sharp form. One, lock, finish. Sometimes get broken down in three, so like 1, 2, 3. But in reality, this is just kind of two cuts. That one. That. So you've got a snap, ray, block, and finish. So that's And again, just last few, just play with this a little bit more fluidly. So try and feel that it's now one thing that goes. So the attack is just kind of feeding through. There. And take the power down or put the power up, it's up to you, but just get the sense that now you're going to flow through. You want this feeling all the time that you're connecting to the ground. Nice and calm, but really, really powerful. You go. Go very heavy. Finish is a real clear finish. H. There. That's it. Right. Okay, we'll go to number 4. So 4 again is it's a very short form, a little bit complicated, and we won't spend too much time on it because there's a real interaction with the partner that's also kind of necessary for this form. Yeah, there's 2 forms for this. There's the original form, which if you look at the traditional Aikido books, you'll see a shortened form. And if you look at the old videos from the 70s, you'll also see a different form than the one that exists now. And it was changed because for safety reasons. So you'll notice if you know form, we start in Kamae like this, and then we both increase the space back. So we draw back to increase the space. And this is because it's very easy in the original form. We just both ski in, so it's very easy to go against the thumb and break the thumb as you go in, or worse, go into the throat. So it's very easy to kind of get injuries if you practice the original form. But I'll try and find a video of the original form, which basically just starts, we both start from here and we just throw straight in as you go. So it's really, really a close distance form. And the form that as it exists now is for safety, is that we both draw back this way. Okay, we'll do the forms that exist now. So what you do in this case, the attacker, we'll do the attacking roll first. The attack, we both come back together just to increase the space. The attacker in this case goes straight down the line. So you're going to go straight in and like a 6 suburi, you just thrust straight through. So it's just like this. You draw back and then pressing from the back foot, press right in with the ski. So let's go right through to the center line. So it's a very sharp movement. Go straight down the line. That's it. That's it. Draw back, make space. Okay, good. The defending roll, you do the same action, but you come off the line. This is slightly different to the original form where we were both just trying to control the line. But in this form, for kind of safety, what I do is I come to here, and then for the defending roll, I go in and I slide off the line. So if this is the line here, you press back and then you go off onto the center line. So I'm trying to create a new line. Okay, so you go here, back, same movement, same attack, but I wedge it off. Goes to here, this place. Go down the line, in, and the defender goes off the line. We use the same motion. That's it. There we go. Right, so what you do now, this makes a little bit more sense in the old form, because what you're trying to do is basically get into the center line, press the other sword away. So you basically got two swords, if you think two swords can't occupy the same center line. So unless you both kill each other like this. So what you're trying to do in this case is get in and then press the sword out of the center line as you continue the attack through. So this is a really dangerous motion. And this, you get lots of injuries if you train like this way. So what you're trying to do is get off through the line, and then you're trying to press the sword down. So basically continue an attack to the front of the body. So you do now as the defender, you've got this position, and then from here I roll the hip into the trike. So this is totally to take the center line. My aim again is to get the sword off my body, totally. Now when we do the form as it is now, it's really safer because I'm coming totally off the line. So the sword's pretty much already off the body. So it's a little bit safer as you go in, you wedge in and then you press down. Wedge in, press down. It's got a similar quality that we did with number 7, the 7th awase, pressing through, but it's got a sharper quality. You're here, in. So I'm really right on the top. My intention again is to just go straight to the center of the body, to the center line here. So you've got to kind of ski in, press down.
Michael?
Yeah, sure.
When you're pressing down, are you kind of, so when you attack as the defender,
Yeah.
Nage, so when you're pressing, are you kind of like, not scooping, but are you turning the sword, or are you keeping it that way and pressing?
Yeah, good question. Yeah.
Because I see sometimes there is a little bit of, I don't know how to describe it, like, you cover somebody with blanket. Yeah, something like that. You exaggerated, but something like that.
Yeah, when you do the basic form, so you've got the basic form is just something like that. So the sword's going from that position.
Yeah.
To, okay, some of the variations we do when I want to get to the other side, they require me to really twist through the sword. So they require me something like that, where the sword's going to really snap over this way.
But this is too exaggerated. I see in between. It's much subtle. It's more like this.
Yeah, if you think it's going to come from the hip, so the hips and the hands going to follow it. In terms of the basic, because I'm trying to finish the form, all I want to do is get the sword in that position to thrust basically back into the body. So that later, that kind of twist is introduced when I want to get the body into the other side. So that becomes much more that kind of motion.
Okay.
So it's got a it's got a special quality where I'm kind of twisting and covering the body so that I can enter in to that side. But in
But
the
right now it's more like as it is, you just press it. You don't change the angle, you just press it.
Yeah, so you've got like that position before, that, and then that. I just basically follow the hips, there, there. But it has got a kind of, it's got a twisting quality from the hip.
Okay.
It doesn't totally twist in.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, good. Okay, go ahead. Okay, good. We'll go to the attacking roll. So since you go in this way, straight down the line. Now your sword gets pressed away. Now if I stay where I am, I'm just exposed totally on the center line. So what I do is as that press comes in, I twist the body around and I go into a ski underneath. And then from here, the last strike is to the head, going to here. So really sharp again, short movement. There's a press back. I go straight down the line, in, receive, go to the left side, and then strike for the head. Goes through. So the attacking form goes here, back, straight in, press, left side, and then here for the right side. Finishes in this way. It's a nice short form. You got 2 thrusts. That's it. There we go. There we go. Great. And then the defending side again just follows the similar kind of logic. You go back, this time off the line, wedge in, press down. And as you press down, you've got the ski coming straight to the body. So you press down, roll back, defend against the ski. And then you've got the final yokomen coming in, strike through it, goes this way. So again, a nice short form, goes back, off to the side, press, roll back, finish. It goes here, 1, here, 2, 3. Whoosh! Here goes that. There we go. Nice. There we go. Okay, just one thing. Oh, this is true for all of the form. Just notice again that very last movement. What you don't want to do is split that into 2. So you don't want to do something like this. Here, 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 and then like 1, 2. What we tend to do in the form is like I'm waiting for the person to fully commit to the attack before I come through, so that I can hit the bokken as I go down. My intention isn't to hit the bokken. So that's just the way the distance is set up, that you're going to cut through the bokken. I don't care whether the person cuts or not. So I'm not moving back to kind of go back to power through this person's sword. It's not my interest in this. So the point of that cut is to finish the form. So I don't care whether the person comes in or not. So you go here, this, and then here. So you're cutting straight through the person. whether the sword's there or not, you just go straight through. So it's not about waiting for the person to commit to the attack. If I do that, every time I'm going to clash with the person. It's because the sword's coming down and then I try and block it. And then I end up doing something like this in the form. Something like that. But my only interest in that point is just to raise the sword up and cut down. So that's all you're really doing at that point. So really feel that that's one motion. This, and then cut. So it's really a finishing cut, one move. And especially when we're doing solo work, you don't want to break that down into two. So you don't want to raise up, cut down, raise up, cut down. You just want to move back, cut. So it's one thing. Yeah, it's funny because this same pattern can affect the rest of the training. So if you look at an attack like Yokomanuchi coming in, what people tend to do is something like this, to wait for the person's arm to come in to attack. So again, it's a moment where I'm always interested in connecting to the center line. Whether the arm's there or the person's actually committed the attack, doesn't matter. So what you're trying to do is go into the person this way. So my interest in all the time is to connect the center of the body through the strike. So I'm not interested in waiting for the person to attack and then receiving through the attack, pressing in. This will lead to all these kind of movements where I'm actually clashing with the person, especially with the sword. So you'll end up with something like this. I wait for the person to come down, they come in, and then we clash. So I'm actually only interested as it comes through to cut through it. But I'm not gonna wait for it and then hit it this way. So I don't want to clash at all with the movement. So this is something you can train totally in the solo work, which is the advantage of solo work. I can just commit straight into the cut with no fear of hurting the other person, hitting the hand, hitting the body. So you can just commit totally into the movement, thrusting in, blocking, cutting through. So really feel that you can introduce a little bit more intention behind the movements where I'm not concerned at all with, yeah, maybe I injured the person. So you don't need to be concerned at all because you've got no partner. So just commit to the movements. And that's true for the attacking side too. I don't want to hold back anything. You just want to go in with the attacks. That's it. That's it. There we go. Okie dokie. We've got, I think, just enough time. We'll look at number 5, see how we go with it. Really a difficult suburi, and there's lots of kind of movements in it and lots of intention. So we'll give it a try and see where we go with it. A lot of the movements get confused totally, so we'll go through it really step by step and look at the intention behind the movement. So the very first thing to know with this one, the distance in the swords is a little bit off. So you're not in this kind of distance, you're a little bit here. So there's a little bit of a gap between the two. So it's not quite on this kind of distance that we normally work when we do the normal kumitachi, the 1 to 4. So 5 starts a little bit off the distance this way. The first movement in this case comes from the attacker. So the attacker jumps in and goes for the head this way. So they're trying to just slam through totally through the defenses. So there's a moment of a little bit of disconnection in the person maybe, and they basically jump across the gap and they go for their head. So the very first strike is like this. You go here and then jumping right in. So it's a little bit of a bigger movement because I'm trying to bridge a gap in the kamae. So you've got this, and I really now commit the body in, straight in this way. And this is an aim straight for the head. Just try this, just this one move. So it's got a bit of a kind of, not quite a jumping quality, but you're trying to bridge a gap. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good. That's it. Yeah. Good. Okay, good. And this is the first Kumitachi that starts to really explore the space a little bit more. So this is where you start to get the movements where you're snaking around each other or circling around each other. So what you've got as the defender now is someone coming straight into the head this way. So if I hold the space or try and defend it, you're just going to get cut. So what you do is you just move totally off the line. So we're going to practice this big if you've got the space. If you've not got the space, make it a bit shorter. But just see in this case, what you're going to do is really deep body work right to the back this way. So you've got the cut coming straight to the center line of the body. What you do is you go from the back foot, raise up, and you cut to the back of the body this way. So you've got to imagine the person's committed fully into this position. What you're doing is going right around to the back, and you're either attacking the side of the head or the back of the neck. So it depends how far you get with it. But just make this a nice big movement of the body. So you go right from the back leg, goes straight through. So you totally move off the line, and you create a new line of attack. Big movement. That's it. There we go. Waza. Good. There we go. Very nice.
Michael.
Yeah, sure.
How many degrees you turn? Like 180 or
yeah.
You know?
In this case, think about also the kind of point of this. When I was in Japan, they were doing this move. Also, when we did number 5 in Japan, it was very short. So it was like that. So it was literally like in a way like awase, just going a little bit off to the left side. But when we train it, you've got to also think about moving to a position where maybe I'm also blocked. So maybe there's also, if you think about these forms, we always do these with one attacker. But if you think about also someone maybe being here or being to the back of me. Now I need the flexibility in the movement to be able to get to a position where I'm actually safe.
Okay.
So I'm trying to practice, in a way, I'm kind of getting the maximum I can from it. So I think like 90 or even beyond 90, if you can get there.
Oh,
and
okay.
in this form, we kind of play with it a little bit. You kind of go into these kind of jumping positions as well. And then I'm a little bit trying to get to the back of the neck. So you're in a way, I'm trying to get right into the other person. So you can obviously do the form like that, like a very narrow form. But also I want to practice really a kind of flexibility where I'm really able to move the whole body around.
Okay, great. I have a second question.
Yeah, sure.
If I do the movement,
yeah,
it feels like my ken is hanging too long above. So there's something is releasing, expanding, and it should be together. You know, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I think also you want the sword to also be protecting you as you go, because if the person really commits to that attack with no regard for their own life or whatever, then I need the sword to be in a position where it can also receive it.
Okay, yeah. That will be the thing.
To be in some position like that, to be like hanging around the body.
Yes.
Doing that, actually, if it makes contact, it will feed into the next attack.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about protecting that kind of flank of the body, because if I go to a position like something like that, then I'm also at risk where the elbow can get struck as well through the person.
Okay, then I have a third question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, if you make the first movement, you make a step with the right leg, the front leg, or it's just like intention to move.
On the attacking side.
Well, you make an attack and then you change the angle, no?
On this side. This side.
Yes. Yes.
You press the body in this one. So this is also the kind of quick change in intention comes from this one. It comes from the attacking side.
Okay.
So now attacker does this, does in and then changes.
Yes. Okay. You really step. So.
Yeah, but I need an intention for the person to really feel they need to get out of the way.
Yeah.
So in this case, I don't do something like this.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
One of the mistakes that people make this form is both sides do the same thing.
Yes,
We
yes.
end up like doing a kind of karma thing. One person goes one way, one person goes the other way. But actually, the intention is one person's coming in like this, and then I need to change it to a block.
Yes. So there must be a threat before changing the angle of the defender.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
We just dance around each other, which is nice, but not totally. Yeah, there needs to be a threat. Exactly. Yeah, so we'll go. If you go to now the attacking side, so this Kumitachi notoriously gets people changing roles during the technique as well. So attacking and defending gets a bit confused. What you've got to think now is this is I go from attack and I need to defend myself straight away. So this is where I'm going from very aggressive straight into a block to basically preserve the center, preserve your life. You go this way. So you're gonna imagine you've got the person circling around, they're delivering a Yokuman here. So I go in, that person's disappeared, I need to change it to a block straight away. So it goes now like this, in, block. So it's a very, very fast change. It comes from the hips. There. Give it a try. And if you want, mix it with the defending roll as well, so you've got a good idea. That's it. Super quick.
Start on your right foot. You finished on your right foot on the attack. Can you just show me again?
Yeah, in this case, you finish on the left side. So you go right side, you slide it in. Here, you're about to kind of initiate this, and you convert that to the left side. So you do that, and then that goes to the left side.
That makes sense.
Two goes to there. So you block this on the left. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Good. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, really, again, try and preserve the original intention behind it. So what you're doing is something like this, and then changing it. So you've got to feel that movement has real intention behind it. So you're going into it, and then you're changing it. So it's got this real quick change. What I don't do is something like this, which is really, in a way, just performance. I'm just kind of doing the footwork, but I'm not really doing the intention. So really feel this very first motion has that kind of quality. So I'm committing into it, and at that commitment, that change. That's the tricky part of the form, that I've committed to it and how to change it. So this is a kind of oh shit moment, because I've really committed to my attack and I need to change it. So it's really an oh shit moment, because you've got the sword coming down onto the head. But you really need to practice, otherwise you don't get that moment, because I get just that. And it feels totally safe, but there's nothing really in it, there's no pressure. So you've got to really feel your life's at stake. Someone's really coming to cut the back of your neck. You've got to save it. But you just got to protect your aggressiveness as well, in a way. Oh, you've gone, I can't hear you. Marcel.
Michael.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry about all those questions.
No.
Can you show us or show me both sides in the first moment?
Yeah. So if you go to the attacker, you've got this. The attacker comes in, change it. And the defending side just does this. That. So you've got like two movements. You've got like the attacker does 1, 2. The defender just does one thing. This is why it's difficult for the attacker. So the attacker just does 1, 3.
Okay.
The attacker does 1, 2.
Yes.
Within that one motion. So they've got this difficult.
And
change.
as the defense, as the kata, do I open a little bit to initiate? No, to allow the other person to come in, the attacker.
You can do, but this is basically the point where you've got the gap in the kamae. So there's kind of nothing. No, if you think about it, normally we're always working with this contact. So I've got a contact point on the other person. I can tell what they're going to do. Well, I can listen to the other person. In this case, you've got a gap where there's nothing going on. So the other person basically takes a risk by just going into it.
A risk.
And the person's kind of switched off enough that they can they can kind of bridge the gap. So in this case, there's no real opening to it. So it's not a case of presenting an open. You can do, but
I have seen it done with that. Okay, thanks.
Michael?
yeah, sure.
The initiator, which is defender, who is defender, if when you commit, and normally anytime we cut, so we first land with the front foot and then stable the second foot.
Yeah.
In this case, if I stable my second foot, I'm too late.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So when as soon as I settle the first foot, before settling the second, I should make the defense, right?
Yeah. Well, also think that you're not fully settling the front foot either.
Because I mean, not comfortably settling. You have to. What do you say? You know, like jump, not jump, but you know this.
Yeah, I think. If I do something like this, if I fully grab the front foot, I'm trapped.
Yeah.
This is where, if you think about it, my intention comes first. So my intention always is the priority for it. So my intention to cut is that comes in, and then at that point, really, really quick, then I'm going to change it. So
here comes the difficulty when you're really sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
When you're really committed, really committed, it's how do you? Okay, I can understand you didn't settle the first foot, maybe not really, but I don't know, how do you make that switch? Because you have to base something into the really committed, or the attack is coming so fast you don't even get the chance to settle. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't.
Yeah, that is the problem. So that question is actually, that is the problem that we're trying to do. We're trying to work that with the form. Like, how do I totally commit to something and then change it? So that is the problem. And obviously it's technical in terms of the footwork, what I do with the feet, and the body, and that kind of stuff. But this is where, like, number 5 especially is very tricky.
Yeah, difficult to say.
Because it's dealing with real variations where, like, if you go like, I mean, we're not really in the land of like basic stuff now, where you're going like da-dung, da-dung, dung, like really, really simple stuff. You're doing something actually pretty complex now. You're going like, oh, it's really tricky. So that trickiness is the training, actually. This is a good thing.
Thanks.
Good thing.
My kid is hungry. Bye.
There we go. That's it. Good. We'll go back to the attacker. Or we'll stick with, I think we're on the attacker anyway. But you go now like this. You go in, land this. Now, what this is a continuation. The person's blocked this sword, and what I do, have I got another chance to come around for the head this way. So you've got to see this is now one attack. So you go in, this fails. I have to convert it to a block, and then I go into an attack. So this is a really tricky moment in the kata, right in the kata. So it goes like this: attack, defend, attack. So you just receive it and then you go back in. So really feel this is now one thing: attack, defend, attack. So it goes here: one block, second attack. Here, here, here. Somewhere there. Give it a try. Ooh, yeah. Commit block attack. There we go. There we go. Great. Very nice. Very nice. Good.
Michael, are we stepping back onto the original line with that last?
No, this is another line, because if you've got the defend, I'll show from this way. You've got the defender coming here, this way, and now the attack line is basically here, wedged off. So it's a little bit off at an angle. So you've got the original line here. You go in there, and then I'm not going to come all the way back this way, but you're going to come a little bit wedged off. So it's a little bit cutting off at an angle there. So it's a finer wedge, not fully back around, or not wholly back around. Ooh, so much time. Okay, good. We'll go a little bit further. So the defender now comes to the side, cut for the back. So this gets blocked by the other person. The person then comes around and they attack the head. So what I do is I roll back and I take the center line this way. So you've got now this move. You go 1, you defend back 2. But at the same time, what I'm trying to do is take the center line. So I'm trying to neutralize the form. So it goes here 1, 2, right onto the center line. And we'll go an extra move from here. My intention here is to take the center line and thrust towards the head this way. This is the moment you'll know it's kind of really clear in this movement where you've got both swords coming up into this position. The original intention of this is to take the center line and thrust into the person's face. So it's really to control the person. So it's not to get the person to raise the sword. My intention is to go here, cut, defend, and then straight into the head this way. So I'm trying to thrust through the throat in this case. Oh, okay. So you attack, defend, and then go towards the throat. And you've got a choice. You can go straight to the throat and hold it, or you can go straight through the throat and finish it. If the person does nothing. Good. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Great. Okay, back to the defender. We're going through this a bit fast. It goes like this. You go attack, defend, attack, and now here. Now the person's basically took the center line. The sword is going to come straight to the throat. So I've not got a lot of time. All I can do in this is raise the sword up. So what you're trying to do is defend your own center. So the sword's here. It's going to come up, press in. So what I do is as that comes in, push the sword up. So I'm trying to get the sword away from my face. And the only place I can let it go is up to the top. So in this case, this is where the swords meet each other at the top. So you've got this, and then from here, the person comes in with the sword. I just have time to do that, just to protect my throat. It's just that. So it goes like this. 1, attack, protect. You protect the head this way. So. So imagine something's really coming towards the face. You're trying to send it upwards, get it away from you. What's that? Great. Okay, we switch back again. So it goes like this. So this is where the form's a little bit complicated. You go here, you defend, and then my intention is to thrust towards the head. Okay, as that's received up, my sword starts to travel up. As I see that happening, I basically want to try and take the sword. So I'm trying to perform a tachido. I'm trying to control the person's sword. So as they raise up, what I'm trying to do is get the body in to control the sword, to finish the form. So this is my intention. So it's to follow that raise up and then get the body into it and take the sword this way. As you're doing that movement, the attacker basically coils around and goes for your knee. So you've got to imagine now as you go in, your knee's totally exposed. So you've got that position in. As I've done that, I've exposed the front knee. So the person's going to coil around and they're going to attack your front knee this way. So we'll go to the defender, to the attacker. Goes here, this, in. So I defend myself up. Before the person gets a chance to come around and take the sword, I coil the body around and I go for the back knee, for the front knee. I go for the back of the front knee. So your aim is for this. You get right around. So it goes like this. I'll show you a few times. It goes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Good. Okay, back to the defending roll. So you go like this now. You go to the side. I initiate this movement up, and as I do so, the person goes for the knee. So I coil around and I block that position. Yeah, so it's got the same kind of quality. I do a similar movement, but the intention is to block. So you go to the side. 1, 2, defend, 3, and then 4, coming up this way. So the movement's now really a coil. Up, coil. Up, coil. That's it. You're really protecting the knee. There we go. That's it. Good. And then there's just one more move. So again, from the attacking side, you go in, around, striking in, protect yourself, roll around to the backside. This gets blocked, so I go around off the line, and then I strike for the head. This is the last where it gets finished. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finishes. Show from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finishes. Yeah, try. The attacking side of number 4. Okie dokie. Good. Okay, and then the defending side. So just the last movement now. So you roll around, cut to the back, then initiate this upwards, defend the knee, and then from here you've got the strike coming in. You're in this position. What you do in this case is just raise the sword up, cutting down this way. So it goes like this. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That was it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Michael?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
If you in the last analysis, not the last, but before the last one, you defend yourself in the knee attack, zeg maar.
Yeah.
Yeah. As defend, and then you go to the final cut.
Yeah.
This one. But my sword is a different angle, then it's a flat angle.
Yeah.
So it's a bit strange. It's stranger to lift the ken than if the cut side is down.
Yeah. Yeah, this is tricky. The form as it is, or how it was left, is this way, got the angle, and then to do this straight up.
Yeah.
Now, it makes more sense to do this.
Yes,
way.
that's what
It
happens.
makes more sense to do that, draw it back. But the form as it is the basic as it is like this way.
Yes.
So.
Otherwise, you're too late.
You're a little bit late. What it does do, the benefits of this one is it really gets the hips chance to really initiate through this way. So
okay.
It's very fine. Now, obviously, it makes it much easier to just do that because it just makes more sense logically in terms of the position where I am.
Yes.
But the basic form as it is basically as that. So
okay. We work with it.
You work with it, exactly, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, guys.
Sorry, guys, I have to go.
Hey, we're going to stop. So,
Thank you.
a bit.
Okay, and then I wait.
One more.
Okay, so we got through the 5. If you've got any questions about anything, feel free to ask at the end because a lot of it's a bit fast and we kind of rushed a little bit through it. So feel free, stay on at the end if you've got any questions or you want to ask anything specific, let me know. But we'll bow out and then we'll now if you've got any questions. So that's pretty much it. We got through all 5. Just about. Domo, arigato.
Domo, arigato gozaimashita.
Great, good. The main thing is really to understand the intention behind the movements as well. So if you even get like 1 or 2 of the Kumitachi, where I tend to start with it in terms of teaching them in the classes is we start with number 3. Oscar will know more. We tend to start with 3 because it's the simplest one and it really explores this transition from going from gon awase into just a basic block and a finish. So 3 is basically where we start. Later, 3 becomes a bit more subtle because you're really playing with an idea of opening the person's out. So, but it's a nice one to start with, and obviously number 1's the beginning form and explores lots of the key stuff that in terms of this changing of intention through. So 1's basically where the series starts, but I tend to in the dojo when we're teaching them or introducing them start with number 3 because and 5 obviously we hardly ever get to. So I don't think we ever train in the dojo. We train number 5 on a good day. We train 5, but that's pretty much it. Very complicated.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Thank you very much.
Michael, thanks.
Thank
Nice
you
to see
very
you.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks very much.
Michael, just
Thank you very much, Michael. Very nice.
Hello.
Hello.
Just one question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
In the 5th, who was going to the throat? The defender or the uke or nage?
This is the defending role. So this is the ukitachi. The idea is to finish the form. So you're trying to basically you've got that position. You've gone around. You've gone Now I defended and took the center line. Now it's a tricky one because I'm going back as I take the center line. So it's a moment it's a rare moment in the Kumitachi where I've actually defended and taken the center line.
Okay,
But
so
I'm in a strange place because if you get the distance, I'll send the videos of these forms also. But if you get the sense you've got the center line, but you're off at a distance. So I'm not in a position where I can take the center line and finish the person. So what I do in that is I've taken the center line and then I need to bridge that gap by basically going towards the person's
and
throat.
this is the nage, right?
And this is the defending role.
Sorry, who?
This is the defending. So this
A defendant is going to the throat. Okay.
I try and finish it. I block, but I take the center line. But I'm really off in the distance, so I need to go up to this position.
Okay, so you go, and the other one, protects himself by raising the sword.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay,
the,
okay.
the attacking side basically protects themselves so
Yeah.
that they can to go for the next thing. Or actually, it's just desperation. They're just trying to protect the throat, so
Okay.
they're trying to send the sword upwards into
Okay.
the.
Thank you. It's confusing positions.
Yeah, five's notorious for people changing roles in between.
Yeah.
Or like just kind of circle around each other. One person goes for the knee, we both go for the knee. Who's blocked? Totally confused as before. But if you go back to these intentions, and I like to train from the very first moment, train the intention, so that you really know what the point is of the movement. Otherwise, we're just training form patterns, not really interesting at all. So that's kind
Michael, the only change the Uke-tachi does is the cut to the throat.
Yeah.
That's the only
you initiate that. Yeah. It's a kind of rare chance where you're really trying to stop the form. So you're got the center, and I'm trying to really just take the form, take the center line totally. So it's like I'm in a very rare chance. I've got the position, and then I can go straight into it, and then I'm trying to get into it.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because then the Kumitachi is actually two Kumitachis. If you see that as a stopping point, actually, then it continues. There's a kind of energy releasing there,
totally.
Or building up.
Yeah, it's actually in a way that it's like two forms. Yeah. That it's actually unclear also like where five came from. Like you can look at 1 and 2, maybe 1 and 2 for sure. You can see them in the Katori Shinto Ryu, so in the Kashima Shinto Ryu. So okay. Almost. I mean, they're totally changed and they've got a distinct character. But 5, like nobody really knows where these forms really came from. They're a kind of different stuff and different kind of patterns. So, but yeah, they're in a way.
Battlefield.
Say again.
From the battlefield, I suppose.
From the battlefield. There's one video. I think Sensei's I think he's in Shingu, and he's training swords with another person, and you can see him doing parts of 5. So you can definitely see he was training these kind of things. Yeah. This is from Saito Sensei that he really taught them in this way, not as systematically as Saito Sensei did, but as 5 forms. And he also shared different students as well. So he taught 3 forms to Hikazuchi Sensei, and he taught different forms to different students. So there are kind of people who've pieced together some of Sensei's forms, and Saito Sensei got obviously these from him in Iwama. So there are tricky origins to the sword work as well. And it's clear Sensei looked at all these old sword forms and just transformed them totally, and said like, "Oh, I do it this way. I do it this way." So he's looking at
we can do that also, eh?
Yeah, you can do that too, also. And then the other side is exploring the variations, because the variations are really interesting. So and exploring these kind of tachidori options and different points in the form when you can finish it. This is all.
That's an interesting point to do actually, because you're always working with the ken forms, so the suburis and the kumitachis.
Yeah.
But if you free yourself from that kind of pattern and then see what's possible, that's really working with the mind also.
Yeah. And also Saito had this thing where he had like set variations. So you can see in the books also he had like a sword variation and a body variation. And they also became quite rigid, like in terms of how they were transmitted to other people. So there's like variation 1 with the sword, variation 2 with the body, variation 1 on number 3, and it becomes like an alphabet kind of thing. And Saito always said, Lewis said in the seminars, he would always say, these are examples of variations, create your own and test them to see if they work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Obviously create variations. And the test of them is whether they work, whether I can get them to work, and whether my base is in whether my base exists. So the creation of variations explores my understanding of the form. So
well, then you come back on the lines you wrote. You know what's needable for if you change something, like 5-6 lines you wrote. Like these are the basic ideas. If you change something, those have to work. Otherwise, you don't change.
Yeah. And they also this is also the transition that they made from like sword forms to like bokken forms where I'm controlling the person. Like if the variations need to also act on that point.
Yes.
So also
yes.
there's a kind of tension when we do sword forms, because I mean, a lot of the times we're going into a position where we're actually kind of killing the person, cutting them down. And it's like, how does that translate into how we do Aikido work?
Yes.
So
exactly.
if I'm training a sword form outside of Aiki-ken, that is actually about cutting the person and killing them, then how that translates to the Taijutsu.
Taijutsu, yeah, exactly.
It's going to kind of influence that.
Yeah,
or
good.
actually change the sword style and it becomes something else. So
yes, exactly. Then you can ask yourself why I do Aikido, why I want to learn cutting sword, you know? Why? Because it's totally finished in one cut. So what's the Taijutsu doing there then? You know? Yeah.
So I think this is the area where we're exploring variations and actually linking them much more to the Taijutsu.
Yes, yes, I agree that also. Yes, yeah. I think it's more difficult actually.
And more difficult, yeah. The sword's so simple. I mean, it's just like one cut and the thrust.
Finish.
This is really tricky. You're really dealing with.
Okay, Michael. Thanks for the lesson.
Very good.